Tear down Babylon, black people are the bomb, we ready. Hey, fuck God City. Hey, tear down Babylon, black people are the bomb, we ready. Hey, fuck God City. Hey, tear down Babylon, black people are the bomb, we ready. Hey, fuck God City. Hey, tear down Babylon, black people are the bomb, we ready. Hey, fuck God City. Hey, man, don't that make you feel good? It's a nice little church song that we learned about Babylon. You know, another one we know that we learn in the Church of Liberation is raise your fist and make it pump. Everybody say fuck Donald Trump. Say raise your fist and make it pump. Everybody say fuck Donald Trump. Say it, everybody say fuck Donald Trump. Say it, everybody say fuck Donald Trump. Say raise your fist and make it pump. Everybody say fuck Donald Trump. Say Jackie Lacey must go. Say Jackie Lacey will go. Say Jackie Lacey must go. Say Jackie Lacey will go. Say Jackie Lacey must go. Say Jackie Lacey will go. Say Jackie Lacey must go. Say Jackie Lacey will go. Say Black Lives Ain't Matter here. 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 Say all Black Lives 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 Matter here. All right, one more and then I got a few words for y'all. Y'all say fuck the police. Say fuck the police. Say fuck the police. Say defund the police. Say defund the police. Hey, say defund the police. Say defund the police. Say defund the sheriff. We don't want them to feel left out, right? They standing up here like, who y'all talking about? We not the police, we the sheriff. So we want to make sure we make them feel included. So raise up your fist for black power. If you're not black, you standing in solidarity. I'm going to let y'all do this for a second. Turn that shit around. Lift up that middle finger. Say, fuck the sheriff. Say, fuck the sheriff. Say, fuck the sheriff. Say, defund the sheriff. Say, defund the sheriff. Say, defund the sheriff. Say, defund the sheriff. All right, now say, real quick, say, we coming for them green ass uniforms. Look at her. Say, you about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Hey, you about to lose your job. Say, you about to lose your job. Hey. Them guns looking mighty heavy. Them big ass guns looking mighty heavy. Y'all look like y'all wasting a lot of fucking money. I got an idea to relieve y'all of some of that weight. Turn the gun in and your badge and your steak ass uniform. Retire. Give that money to the community. We gonna take it either way. But bless you. Fuck the sheriff. So, anyway, I just wanted to point out how much money they wasting. Each one of them getting paid. Each one of them guns been paid a lot of money for. Y'all see these cars over here. They get paid extra. They got their cars out there that's fuel and all types of shit. They blocked off all the freeway entrances. Every single week, the block-offs get worse. The blockades get worse, right? These blocks up here on this street, they had a bunch of them. Now they moved them. But earlier, y'all saw all them cars lined up there and down the street. They get worse and worse, blocks and blocks and blocks, wasting fucking money. So we gotta make sure we what? That's what I'm talking about. Defund the police. Now, and the sheriff too, say defund the sheriff. Defund the sheriff. Defund the sheriff. Defund the sheriff. Now, as far as y'all are concerned and how that work is gonna come about, how we're gonna manifest that, we've been having wins. All of this money that they're spending on us, right? I guarantee y'all we don't spend nearly, this stage was donated, like, so are these. Like, we don't spend nearly as much money. We spend our time, we spend our trauma and our grief, but we don't spend nearly as much resources, money, monetarily, as they spend. Which shows you how scared they are. They got all that, look at all them compartments on their vests. They got all these fucking weapons. And they got whole systems, whole buildings. We ain't even got a building. We ain't even got an office. They got all this shit to protect them. They spending all this money to make sure that our stories are not heard, that the truth does not come out, and that all the oppression that they caused over the last 400 years doesn't come back on them. But a reckoning is coming. The train has left the station and it's going full steam ahead and it ain't stopping. Now, when y'all leave here, there's all this energy and everything, right? But when you leave here, the work starts. The work happens every single day. It's a culture. You have to have a culture of liberation. Develop a culture of liberation. Develop a culture of abolition. Because when we talking about defund the police, just a reminder, we're talking about defunding to the point of abolition. To be real clear, we don't want none of these fucking uniforms. We're talking about we cannot have true liberation without abolition and reparations. So you have to develop a culture of abolition and reparations in your life. You fuck up, repair that shit. We ain't talking about, we got to move away from this idea of punishment and shit. That is how we've been taught. We cannot separate in our minds punishment from accountability. They are mutually exclusive concepts. We have to hold people accountable. But this fucking system ain't got shit to do with accountability. It has to do with upholding white supremacy. If it had anything to do with accountability, when they finally figured out that it was wrong to own people, somebody would have been held accountable. Because after that little bullshit document, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, people were still enslaved. Ain't nobody held accountable for that. How many people were held accountable for lynching? Look it up. Look that shit up. How many people were held accountable for Jim Crow once they found out that shit was wrong? How many people were held accountable for throwing shit at and spitting on children as they went into schools after desegregation? And guess what? A lot of them people are still alive today. My parents grew up in segregation. My parents, not my grandparents, my parents. Those people are still alive today. And some of them work in these fucking offices. Elected officials, police, white supremacists. That's why we gotta abolish this shit. That's why you have to work in your life so you know what an abolition is. You study it, you look it up, you study that shit, right? And then you apply it to your life. How are you participating in these systems? How are you participating in oppression? Because we all do. We all participate in capitalism, some of us more than others, some of us more deliberate than others. But look at how you're participating in these systems. Identify it and abolish it in yourself. Learn to repair the damage that you've done. That is important. I hope that's sinking in a little bit. Learn to repair the damage you've done by participating in these systems. Become a part of the solution every single day. Stop waiting for other people to take charge and take accountability for you, and tell you how to do it. Move, organize, get your friends together, talk, develop email lists. I love that, I ain't gonna say what the conversation was, but we just had a little conversation. We just had a little conversation of people asking what they can do or asking us to do shit, right? Asking BLMLA to do shit, right? You do that shit. Hey, we got an idea. Let's do this. You do that shit. You start organizing and come with an actual thing, right? There are other social justice consultants and other people, and you will get things wrong. I guarantee you. Join the organization, volunteer for our organizations and do that. But when you coming up to us trying to give us more shit to do and we don't have a very limited capacity. Bill Power only got Jack, not that Jack, Jacqueline here. Jacqueline, not Jackie Lacey. Fuck that. And Lacey, where Lacey? Not that Lacey. Lacey, where oh, Lacey's over there jumping around in the back. That's our team. That's our team. This is BLMLA. Like, it ain't a whole lot of people doing it. I don't know what kind of capacity y'all think we got. So when y'all are thinking about what you can do in your community, do it. Do it. Don't be afraid to fuck up. You will. And then what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Repair the fucking damage that you did. Fix that shit. Work to repair. That is what you do. That is what we do. We have to organize each other. I ain't telling y'all to go out and start your own BLM organization and go out there talking about Black Lives Matter, Burbank, and Black Lives. Okay? I'm just saying, there are certain things, like cleaning up after yourselves, organizing a team that cleans up, or that type of shit. That is important. Those things are important as well. That is part of repairing the damage that y'all did, right? Or have these motherfuckers clean it up. Because they'll need jobs after we take them. If you weren't clear on who I was talking about the sheriffs. They will need jobs. They will need jobs. And we want to create economy, right? Although they probably don't live anywhere as close to here. But anyway, make sure y'all take responsibility. Make sure y'all get involved. Make sure y'all don't think that this is the work. Being out in the streets is important. But the last thing I will leave y'all with is this. Actually, real quick. I love being a part of these conversations with folks, right? Where just identify it. You'll see it very soon if you don't know what I'm talking about. Where you have a bunch of conversations, everybody got ideas and nobody wants to do anything about it. And then you have a meeting and you set a meeting to have another meeting. And y'all are like, oh man, I wish somebody would do this. And nobody does it. In those conversations, that's when if you got that idea, that's when you talk about how can we do this right now. What is my part in this? I can do this in my capacity. What can you do? And then we can present it as a whole package, right? That type of shit. But the last thing I'll leave y'all with is this. I'm not worried about convincing everybody here to get involved in the work. Whenever I speak anywhere, my main objective is to affect one person. One person. Now, collectively, we liberate together, right? But in each crowd, I don't necessarily need everybody. I need the right people. I need the right person who will take action and organize all those people, right? I need that one person who's going to take the initiative. I need that one person, right? It could be several people. That's great. But one person. Ask yourself, are you that one person? Are you? Lord's like, yeah, I'm that one person. Are you that one person? Are you that one person in that crowd that's like, you know what, fuck this shit. Everybody else here listening, I'm getting to work. Are you that person who's going to change your environment? Are you that person who is going to affect in a real way? And not just show up, not just post something. Those are important, but we all have a role to play and we have to take action. All right? Now, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand, but I'm going to ask y'all to make a little noise. If y'all are that person, if any of you are that person, say defund the police. Defund the police. That sounds like a lot of y'all. I hope to see some work done this week, all right? Say defund the police. Defund the police. Say defund the police. Defund the police. Say defund the police. Defund the police. Say defund the police. Y'all ready? Fist up. Turn that shit around. Lift that finger up. Say defund the sheriff. Defund the sheriff. 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 Say fuck the police. Fuck the police. Say fuck the police. Fuck the police. Say fuck the police. Fuck the police. Say fuck the sheriff. Fuck the sheriff. 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 Say fuck Jackie Lacey. Fuck Jackie Lacey. Say fuck Jackie Lacey. Fuck Jackie Lacey. Say fuck Jackie Lacey. Fuck Jackie Lacey. All right, and we gonna end it with chant down Babylon, black people are the bomb, we ready. Hey, fuck Garcetti. Hey, chant down Babylon, black people are the bomb, we ready. Hey, fuck Garcetti. Hey!
So we just want to close out with a few announcements. Yes. We want to thank everybody who contributes every single week to this demonstration. So we often say that this is, we ascribe to Mama Ella Baker's concept of group-centered leadership. The movement takes all of us. There's no one person at the center of the movement. We reject the notion of a leader-centered group. We believe in group-centered leadership. And so what that means, just echoing what Kendrick said, is whatever you have, bring it to the movement. If you can sign and we didn't have sign language interpreters, then be like Rory and just come and bring your fucking crew with you. Thank you. If you notice that we used to speak in a circle with a fucking bullhorn, and you said we need a sound system, then be like Io, be like, who's the other brother, Nick, Be like all of the folks who brought speakers and made it, and Robert, what's your name? Amanda, and made sure that our voices are amplified and everybody can hear us. Every week, I don't even know how the fuck Io gets a stage here, but every week we come and it's here. Is it in your trunk? How you be doing that shit? Yeah. It's like magic, right? Be a genie, right? Bring that shit. The people who are bringing water, and now it's cold ass water, that's fantastic. Bring that shit, right? Specifically, there are things that we need. We need your voice. What does that mean? That there's, they say I do mama math. There's 10,000 people here today. Give or take, right? But as many people as are here today, you all have your own circles of influence.
Thank you.
Who are not here with you.
Thank you.
So for the 6 days between
Right.
the next gathering, you need to make sure that you bring people on board. The way we gonna get this fool out of office
Thank you, brother.
is to make sure that everyone in our sphere knows to vote against her in November. To be clear, we don't have no $1 million like the LA Police Protective League or $800,000 like ALADS. We don't have that money, but we got hella fucking friends, right? And the people are always more powerful than money. The people are always more powerful than money. But we have to exercise our power. We have to exercise our power. So use your voice. All power to the people. All power to the people indeed. So use your voice. The next thing we need is your body. So let's be clear about what's happening on the news. They trying to act like you should be too scared to be out here protesting because there's a public health pandemic. Well, let me be real clear. I am a black mother of 3 black children. The public health pandemic for me is that there's targets on their backs. That's a fucking public health pandemic. Don't let these fools scare us back in the house. I'm not going back in the fucking house. Are you going back in the house? You going back in the house? We gotta stay in these damn streets. We gotta stay in these streets. Wear your mask. Use hand sanitizer, but don't go back in the fucking house. Stay in the streets. Stay in the streets. Stay in the streets. Stay in the streets. The third thing that we need from you is we need your resources. And I want to be straight up with you. Some of y'all have looked at our GoFundMe and said, damn, y'all got hella money. You're right. Right? That shit only happened over the last 4 weeks. Before that, we were paying everything out of pocket. We didn't have no money for snacks. Right? I want to be clear that when you look at the history of organizations, it takes millions of dollars to institution build. What's happened over the last 4 weeks is we are getting to the point where they can't just dismantle us, right? We're in a little bit. Don't anybody ask us what happened to the money. The money's still in the fucking bank. We just got that money like 4 weeks ago. We didn't do shit with it. It's right there, right? It's important that we invest our dollars in what really matters. This movement is what really matters. So those dollars that are there are meant to make sure that we keep this movement going. Remember, it's not just about voting Jackie Lacey out, but it is, right? Yeah. But whoever comes after her, we gonna have to protest their ass too. Until this whole fucking system is gone, until there's no more names to hashtag, we will keep fighting. We will keep fighting. So we want to be real clear. We need those 3 things from you: your voice, your body, and your resources, and sometimes your resources aren't only your dollars. Your resources can be your prayers. Your resources can be these signs that you made. Your resources can be, as many pastors have done, the opening of your church so that we have places to meet, right? Whatever resources that you have, offer them to the movement. Finally, I just want to say that this work here is the visible work. Where y'all gonna be next Wednesday? And bring somebody with you. Okay? Don't let them tell the story that people went back in the house, because we gon' what? We gon' what? We gon' what? Next Wednesday is more important than ever because the 13th is the 7-year anniversary of Black Lives Matter. So we gonna take this whole fucking shit next Wednesday. It's gonna be a party. Bring some fucking cupcakes, right? We need us to be here, but we also know that this is the visible work. The hard work, the planning around how we gonna get this brought out, right? That's what happens when nobody sees us. So we also need you on Sunday. We need you on Sunday at our Black Lives Matter meeting, our monthly meeting. We need you to be there to help us plan, to offer the things that you have to give, to help to imagine creatively about how we usher in the world we want to live in, about how we defund the police and reimagine public safety. We're winning, y'all. We are winning. We are winning. Think about what these children, and that's not to belittle them, but they are children. These are babies. Think about what the fuck they just did. They cut LA school police by 35%. And they kicked them off of the campus. Police aren't even allowed inside the schools anymore. Think about what we just did, not just that piddly ass $150 million cut to LAPD, but what that motion means that just got passed unanimously that says police don't get to be called out for non-violent emergencies. That would have saved the life of Rishario Mack. He would still be here if mental health workers had been called out instead of police. I want us to think about Jesse Romero, who I don't know if you know this, Mr. Romero, but it's very difficult for me to tell your son's story without crying because my daughter is on her way to high school, and I know Jesse was. If Jesse Romero had have had youth workers who said, hey, you want to be in this summer program? Instead of LAPD coming out, traumatizing this baby, and then murdering him. He was 14. If we had this motion then he'd still be here. He'd still be here. And he'd be celebrating his 18th year of life. Jesus. So we need to think about that win. We need to think about the common sense motion that's been introduced but not yet passed by Marquise Harris Dawson and Mike Bonin that says, if there's a traffic stop, guess what? We really don't need the police at a traffic stop. Why the fuck y'all here for a fucking traffic stop? For a car crash, why the fuck we need LAPD? Yeah. We don't need these motherfuckers at no damn traffic stop or collision. And what would have happened to Daniel Hernandez if the Department of Transportation had come instead of Tony McBride? And so this is what we stand to win. So when Future said we are the defenders of the dead, think about Daniel Hernandez, think about Jesse Romero, think about Rishario Mack, and the ushering in of a reimagining of public safety that's rooted in community and our love for one another, right? That is what we stand to win when we stay in these fucking streets. When we stay in these fucking streets. And so I just meant to come up here and give you those brief announcements, but you know, sometimes I get the mic and talk too long, so forgive me. But I hope to see you Sunday, and I also hope to see you Wednesday. We're going to close out and ask Pastor Eddie, who's one of the pastors of this movement, to come up and give us some spiritual energy before the babies come up and close us out.
Say, Jackie Lacey must go.
Jackie Lacey must go.
Jackie Lacey will go.
Jackie Lacey will go.
I'm Pastor Eddie, and I want to just make something very clear, because I know the media wants to make it seem like pastors want to sit at the table with police and the mayor and try to figure out how to stop this movement. I just want to remind you that Jesus, the one that I pray to, turned over the damn table and didn't actually sit at the table. And so if your religious leader is trying to meet with the sheriff or the Chief Moore or Jackie Lacey, then their faith is anemic and they are not living out the faith that they tell you that God has called you to.
Yes.
So I'm going to pray with my eyes open because I don't trust these people behind me. Close my eyes. Close my eyes. And I will remind you that Scripture said that you will reap what you sow. And the LAPD and the sheriff have sown in blood the death of black bodies. They have sown in blood the death of our communities. They have sown in blood the over-policing of our neighborhoods and our schools, where our schools become prisons. They have sown in blood racism, continuing the slave-catching ideology which they came from. And the Bible says you will reap what you sow. So all of you are what they get to reap. They get to reap angelic troublemakers who will turn over tables. They will get to reap angelic troublemakers who say we are going to burn down the house and reimagine something new. They get to reap us coming every single Wednesday until this building is actually a hall of justice. They get to reap each and every one of you saying we're not going home because we're sick and tired of being sick and tired. We will prosecute every single one of these racist killer cops. That's what they get to reap because they sown in blood. And so we will use our voice to be angelic troublemakers. I empower you. I bless you. I charge you to be the people that turn over the damn tables and create a community where we all can live. Amen?
Amen.
God be with you.
Hey guys! I know you're probably tired and it's hot today. Really quickly before we do Asada, we are the youth vanguard, some of us. And we're gonna plan an action that's happening next week. We're gonna have art, it's just gonna be chill, it's gonna be music, it's gonna be just an opportunity for us to hold space and heal. Because as much as we need to be in the streets on Wednesday, we also need to hold community with all of us and make sure that like our folks are good, right? So you go to Jackie Lacey on Wednesday, you go every Wednesday, and then you go to our action on Saturday. So follow BLMLA Youth, follow Blmlosangeles for updates on that.
So we're gonna do something called Asada. We do this at the end of every Black Lives Matter gathering. If you've come to other stuff, you've heard this chant before. It's always led by the youth. So it's basically an affirmation of strength. Like she said, we also need time to heal. So this is what we use as not as a form of healing, but also as a form of strength. All of the pain that we go through. So we start out in a whisper, and then we're eventually gonna yell. So repeat after us in the same tone. It is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and protect one another.
We must love and protect one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
It is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and protect one another.
We must love and protect one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
It is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and protect one another.
We must